Hey, welcome to Project Beats. My name is Joven. We will be interrupting the Coffee Hang interview series for this video. By the way, thanks for the amazing response so far. I still have a couple of interview videos waiting to be edited, so watch out for that. So while I have the SSL SiX with me, let's talk about it because I need to return it soon. Of course, big thanks to our friends at AVL Direct for lending me this mixer to test and play around with. This isn't sponsored, so all thoughts and opinions are my own. But if you're in Singapore and looking for some awesome gear, check out AVL Direct and tell them I sent you. Maybe they'll give you a discount. But don't at me. All links will be in the description. Okay, that intro you heard was all recorded with the SSL SiX mixer. The only mix I did was literally 2 plugins. Channel strip for the overheads, and then 1 room. That's it. Kick and snare, as is, mixed from the SSL SiX. Guitar and bass, no post-mix at all done in the SSL SiX. Personally, I thought it sounded really good for a one-and-done recording. This isn't a new product. It has been out for a while, and there are tons of detailed reviews about it. So I'm not doing that here. If you're thinking of getting one though, now might actually be a good time because you might be able to get it used or maybe even new. I think it has dropped down in price since launch, but that all depends on where you are. Okay, before I show you the raw recording, let me break down how I used it for this recording. I personally like a lot of control and flexibility in post. So for this recording, I use 4 mics instead of just 2. It goes into my Audient ID44 interface, kick and snare on channel 1 and 2, EQ and compression on. Then the reason why I mix the overhead is because channel 3 and 4 doesn't have compression and EQ as well as mic preamp. For preamp, you can use whatever you have. I have the dual channel Warm 273, which is a recreation of the classic Neve 1073. So I use that for the overhead. Hard pan setting on the Audient ID mixer to get that nice stereo imaging. Okay, so this is the setup. I took it out of all the cabling. That will be a big problem for me later to reconnect everything. This is how I used it for the way I do my recordings or for the way I like to handle my recordings, right? So channel 1, kick. We have 48 volt for my D12DR, high pass off, of course. I'll go through the channel for you. So this is kick 1, channel 1. Channel 2 is my snare. 3 and 4 in this lane. That'll be this strip right here. I didn't use the 5 and 6 because I didn't have any more preamp. So one by one, this will be your gain. 1 knob compression. Just turn it on or off. This section, this 2, that's your EQ. That's it. High and then low. You turn on bell if you want. EQ in if you want to use the EQ. That's it. Just boosted a little bit for the kick. For the snare, boosted a bit for the highs. That's all I did. Very simple, basic EQ there. But of course, the sound quality is really good. This, I didn't have to touch actually for the purpose of my recording. What I did was SEQ1 for these 2 tracks. Turn those on. But the key here is pan the kick to the left, all the way to the left. Pan the snare all the way to the right. So now if you go back here, you will see these are your STQ1. So these 2. Top will be your 1 left. Bottom would be your 1 right. You see what happened there? So if I pan this to all the way to the left, that goes into that. Bigat. Okay, so if I pan this all the way to the left, that will go into that output right there. And then if I pan this one all the way to the right, it goes to the other output, right? So I have independent output for these 2, just for the style of workflow that I want. And then, this is heavy. I'm getting tired. Okay, now we go to the overheads. For the overheads, I used my analog preamp, my 1073, warm version, recreation, not the original 1073. I don't have budget for those yet. So those are just trim. You don't have mic pre. I sent it to STQ2 full, And then the balance will be just in the middle here, panning, because this lane is stereo, which behind here, CQ1 here, and then STQ2 is left and right. So the overheads go there. There's an option here for DB25 output, which is this one. But I was just using 4 channels. It didn't make sense to go through the hassle of sourcing a DB25 cable, because I don't have one, just to get all 6 or 4 channels, right? This was the best option at the time. Besides that, you can also use the talk input if you want those classic in the air tonight Phil Collins sound. You can turn that on, use the LMC for the talk back mic. I tried it. I didn't get the workflow for that, so I just didn't use that. Lastly, I used the main out left right as a bus lane, sort of like a parallel mix for all 4 tracks for all the drums. I could do some parallel mixing with that, drive it with some decapitator or compression and whatever you want to do. So this one though, this bus mix would use the famous G series compression. Though it's very basic, it's still the G series bus compression. So you have threshold and then makeup. On or off. That's it. I think, if I'm not wrong, that only goes out through the main left-right channel. So yeah, that main left-right, it also went into my interface as a bus mix for the whole drums. For guitars, I reset the whole thing, left-right, coming from this amp. Stereo out from the headphones or line out, and then it goes to left-right here. And then I switch to line in. That's it. No other mixing done there. Just a bit of boost on the high, maybe the low for the bass. A tiny bit of turn there on the knobs. The rest I didn't really touch because I didn't really need it for this project. That's it for this walkthrough. Let's check the recordings. So for pros, if you need a really fast production, if you know what you want from the get-go, this will take you there fast. Not to say that this will give you your finished sound. You can, of course, if you know how to, but it will get you really close. That means very little work in post. You get a solid foundation for your recordings, ergo fast turnaround. For cons, I really don't have any negative thing to say about the quality of the recording it produced. But if I have to comment on cons, maybe the throwback mixer design, not the biggest fan of it. I was thinking if it was a 2U rack, that would be really cool. Also the price, but of course it is SSL with analog circuitry design, so yeah, I kind of get it. Another wish list would be better integration in the digital production space or workflow, just to make all those 6 channels usable for full control when you want it to be individually tracked for recording. Also, a drivable preamp would be nice, but that might, hike the price up a bit. Also, that might be asking too much for what this is intended to do. Of course, I'm looking at it from the perspective of someone who is used to doing music productions in the digital space. I had little time to understand it better for my use, but I'm pretty happy with the quality of the recordings that I was able to achieve with this tiny mixer. So, who is this mixer for? In my opinion, if you need fast-paced work, this is a great option. Great quality mix bus for maybe live stream, broadcast, or something along those lines. If you're the type who likes it more analog, minimalist, great analog circuitry, less digital type of recording, this is a great option. For the mini kit that I use, this is actually great. Very quick recording, one and done. Okay, that would do it for this video. See you guys in the next project.